Okay, good morning 10bHodgkin. This is a short walkthrough video for your exam questions for the deforestation topic that I have set you for this week's work. I'm going to go through each of the questions, give you the answer, work through the answers with you. Your individual feedback will have been posted on Teams for you for the questions that you've submitted there. If you've not had a go at the exam questions yet, please do that first of all before watching this video. Then you can go and check how you've got on. Otherwise, let's move on. Okay, so these are the exam questions that I set to you all around the, as I say, the areas of deforestation. I'm going to work through. I'm going to give you the full range of answers that are possible for each of the questions, which will hopefully give you a chance to kind of see what is a suitable answer. Okay, so question 1. In tropical areas of the world, forests are being cut down at a rate of 150 hectares every minute of every day. Give 2 reasons why forests in tropical areas are being cut down at a high rate. Okay, so 2 reasons. So we need to make sure that we're talking about reasons rather than effects, and we need to be talking about that they're being cut down. It's not particularly important about tropical areas, that we don't want to get too worked up, but we're talking about tropical rainforests here. Okay, so why are they being cut down? Lots of people that I've marked so far got the right answers here, but the one thing it's really important to do is use the key terms. Okay, make sure that you're really clear on what you're talking about, and also don't be too specific. So a lot of people sort of saying cattle ranching and that sort of thing, which is true, okay, but it is one of a number of reasons. So we're going to be quite general with our answers here. So 1 is simply for the use of timber. Okay, so from the trees, we just need the timber. Okay, another is agriculture in general. Okay, so farming, you could also say. And then the third option, okay, is for urban development, so clearing the land for roads or buildings. Now, the important distinction here is obviously the top one of this is actually use of the trees that are being cut down. The second 2 are use of the land that is being cleared. Okay, so if you say land clearance, okay, you need to give a reason for that land clearance, so agriculture or for development. Okay, if you say that the trees are being used for timber, that would be fine. So there's 3 options there. You need 2 of them to get your marks. Okay, section B, question B, explain how the deforestation is affecting the composition of the atmosphere. So explain how this deforestation is affecting the composition of the atmosphere. There are 5 marks here. There is a lot of information that we need to be able to use. So I'm going to write down all of the different options. Okay. When you write these, you can either have them this way, or you can use the reverse as well. That will become a bit clearer as I go through them. So the first thing would be that because we've got less trees equals less photosynthesis equals increased CO2 content. Okay, so the content of the atmosphere, the composition of the atmosphere, the CO2 is going up because there are less trees carrying out less photosynthesis. Okay. Also, deforestation we know is not just cutting down trees, but also burning trees. Okay, so wood burning, okay, increases CO2 content from locked up carbon. We use the term locked up carbon that's been stored within the wood. Okay, what else is happening? Okay, now there's also going to be, when trees are cut down, bits and pieces are left around, we're also going to get decomposition happening. Okay, so there's going to be an increased microbe activity. Okay, so decomposition, the microbes that are breaking down the wood, that kind of thing. Okay, they're going to which will increase the CO2 content. okay, because of the release of carbon dioxide during decomposition, okay, and also the release of carbon dioxide during respiration. And then finally, okay, actual oxygen content, okay, is being reduced as water vapor content is reduced. Okay, so as we dry, as the planet becomes drier, okay, the atmosphere becomes drier, the water vapor content is reducing, therefore oxygen levels are reducing. Now, that's it's a slightly more complicated sort of concept to get our head around, but there are some other reasons there already. Now you'll say, well, there's not 5 there. There isn't 5, but what I've done is I've made links to get my 5 marks. Okay, so I've linked the fact that there are less trees to there being less photosynthesis to increasing the CO2 content. I've linked the increase of burning of trees that have locked up carbon to an increase in CO2 content. I've linked an increase in microbe activity to an increase in CO2 content due to respiration and decomposition. Okay, I'm going to put those down there as well. So that covers all of the different possibilities. Okay? Right, question 2. Human activities affect the environment. Deforestation results in an increase in carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere. Give 2 reasons why. We've kind of discussed this already, okay, so it's really just, again, clarifying what we've said already. Okay, so there's a few options. We can say that the fewer trees to take in CO2 for photosynthesis. We can say that decomposers respire, releasing CO2, okay, and we can say that the burning of wood releases CO2. Okay. Now, one other thing that you could mention is burning fossil fuels. Okay, so if you'd said burning fossil fuels, that would be okay as well, because that does indeed release CO2, and it would be a byproduct of deforestation, as those fossil fuels are collected. Okay, now the last question, okay, which is the 6 marker. So, a couple of bits in this question. You'll be assessed on using good English, organising information clearly, and using specialist terms where appropriate. Those are the key bits, really. Okay, your information needs to be organised clearly. It doesn't need to be prose, but it does need to flow. It does need to follow a process. Okay, and you need to use specialist terms. So a few people, when I marked their work, had missed a few key terms. Okay, let's go through the question. Okay, it does go on to the next page. A dairy farmer washes out his cowshed each day. The wastewater contains urine and feces. The wastewater overflows into a stream by mistake. Okay, so we've got contaminated water going into a stream. The wastewater will have an effect on the plants and invertebrates living in the stream. Explain why. Okay, so what is going on? Right, this is a levelled question. Okay, so we've got 3 possible levels here. I'm going to show you on the mark scheme what those 3 possible levels look like, so you can see, without going into the answers for a minute. So, no marks, obviously, if we haven't answered or the content we've got is not really relevant. Level 1 is a brief description of some steps in the process, but the order might not be clear, and we don't really use any biological vocabulary. Level 2, which is for 3 to 4 marks, there is a reasonably clear description of the process, involving many of the steps and using some biological vocabulary. For a level 3, for a 5 to 6 mark full answer, there's clear, logical and detailed scientific description of the process using appropriate biological vocabulary. Okay, let's go through and make the key points. Okay, what I want you to do, okay, is if you've answered this question already, which I'm hoping you have done, okay, then I'm going to make the key points, and I want you to try and reframe your answer, okay, unless you've got sort of 6 marks already, which you may have done, okay, but if you haven't got 6 marks already, if you've got sort of if you've got lower than a level 3 answer, I'd like you to have a go at reforming your answer, okay. So I'm going to give you the content that you need to be able to use, okay. So these are the examples of the key points, okay. So the wastewater is going to contain sort of organic matter, okay, so it's going to contain stuff that is organic. This is going to therefore increase, and lots of people picked up on this, the growth of algae in the stream, okay. Plants below the algae will die, okay, so the plants that are lower down will die, okay, due to a lack of light, okay. If there's a lack of light, therefore there's no photosynthesis able to take place, okay, and there's no space either, okay. Then we've got that use again of the word decomposers, okay, which are feeding on decaying plant matter and multiply, so we get more and more of those decomposers, those microorganisms, okay. What do those decomposers do? They respire, okay. Respiration of the decomposers uses up all the oxygen, okay. The invertebrates therefore die due to a lack of oxygen, okay, and we end up with this process, okay, where it talks here about the wastewater will have an effect on the plants and the invertebrates living in the stream. Explain why. So we've said that the plants will die because of this, the lack of light, and the invertebrates will die because of the lack of oxygen. Now the last key thing to get my 6 mark is, what is the name of this process? Okay, this process, as we should have worked out, is called eutrophication, okay, which was the process I asked you to have a look at as part of this week's task. So those are my key points, okay. Now the really important thing is I don't get 6 marks because I've made 6 key points, okay. I get 6 marks, or a level 3 answer, by putting them into a process and talking about it as a process. I say, it doesn't matter which order I mention the word eutrophication, I can say that, you know, that's at the start, okay, but what I want you to do is to use those points to reframe your answer to get 6 marks, okay. Right, I hope all of that makes sense. As I say, once you've done that, please do then resubmit that, and I will be able to have another look at it for you. Otherwise, that is the end of this video.